Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Diana, and today I'm going to be talking about the fifth house in astrology. So this is a fun house, but before I get to talking about everything, I really want to thank you guys for sticking with me, because I know that I haven't been uploading consistently as I initially did when I started my YouTube channel. But yeah, I hit over 2,000 subscribers, and I mean, it's an unbelievable feeling, knowing that even though I thought I wasn't ready to start a YouTube channel, I just put myself out there and you guys were responsive and you guys learned from me. And astrology is something that is so expansive, and there's just so much to learn every day that as I continue making videos, I'm learning. And yeah, one of my goals this year is to start reading birth charts. So for those of you that want a birth chart reading from me, yeah, that's gonna come up this year. It's going to happen this year. I'm going to put my mind to it because I really love doing this, so I'm super excited. And yeah, so sorry for those of you guys that emailed me and go on my Facebook and ask me for birth chart readings. I really wish I could, but right now astrology is not my full-time job. But I'm going to put time aside for astrology and to start doing birth chart readings and all of that. Anyways, I hope that you guys had an awesome New Year's. I hope you guys had a great Christmas and you guys were able to spend it with your families. And I hope that 2017, I hope that all of your wishes come true. Jupiter is going to be in Libra with most of this year, and I know a lot of us are striving to be in a relationship and find love, and I totally relate. Jupiter is right on my descendant right now, and I have my North Node in my 7th house, my Sun in my 7th house, Mercury in my 7th house, so that's something that my heart already wants. And even with that, everybody just wants love, and a lot of people just want that connection with another person, and this year is going to open up doors for you guys to be able to do that. So just pursue it and know that you're going to get that relationship that you really want, that stimulates your brain, you Geminis, or that gives you that true magnetic soul connection for you Scorpios. You guys are gonna get that type of relationship that you want, and just go after it. So the 5th house is the house of fun. It's the house of creativity. It's the house of pleasureful fun sex. It's a house where you can go into and tap into to let loose and distress yourself. It's the house of romance, and it's a party. It's the party house. It's the Leo house. Leos are always the life of the party. And when you tap into your house, into your personal 5th house, you will find what really sparks joy in your heart. And that's why it's important that for everybody out there who is more of a, detail-oriented personality, who has more of a stick up their ass most of the time, it's important for those people to tap into their 5th house, because if you don't have joy in your life, if you don't have fun, then it's going to affect all different areas. You're going to hate your job when you go to work. Your relationship's going to be dry and boring if you don't spice it up with romance. So the 5th house is super important. And also you can see about your kids in there. All of the planets in your 5th house are going to tell you what characteristics your kids might have. Even if you don't have any planets in your 5th house, you can look at the cusp of your 5th house, and if it's Gemini, it's Mercury, if it's Libra, it's Venus, and see where those planets fall. Sun in the 5th house. So if your sun is in your 5th house, that means that you may have been the spoiled child when you were younger. When you were growing up, like, you know, you got all the attention from all of your relatives. You could have been the first child that everybody, like when your mom was pregnant, everybody was super excited that you were gonna be born. Like your aunts, your uncles, your grandparents, they were just awaiting for your arrival, like a Leo. You naturally have those Leo qualities because the sun is your ego and the placement is in the 5th house. The 5th house is naturally Leo. So anyways, when you were little, like, you know, any little like show you put on, anytime you made anybody laugh, anytime you did something silly, like people gave you a round of applause, they encouraged you, your parents pulled out their cameras and took pictures, your grandparents took pictures, you were like spoiled and applauded for any little thing you did. You brought your artwork home from school, like you were applauded. And that's super fun. You know, maybe you were a little bit spoiled, so you do have a little bit of a me attitude and you don't know in this world how to react when you don't get what you want, because you usually always got what you want. To a child at heart, through your adulthood, you know, you really like just being around pleasurable things and pleasurable in a box when you are a walking party. When you have your sun in the 5th house, you're a joy to be around. You have like this magnetic positive energy, and you know, kids, creativity, doing what you really love is going to be a big focus for you in this lifetime. Okay, so let's go over the moon in the 5th house. I have my moon in the 5th house, and it's in Leo, so it's like double the trouble, I guess. Okay, so the moon in the 5th house means that you have emotional attachments to what you create. Like, you have, like, I have emotional attachments like to makeup, to like fun things that I love doing, and I have to be happy and to get out of my head, because I have a lot of 8th house stuff. For example, I have to be doing something creative, whether it be like dancing, or makeup, or some place like that. That's the moon in the 5th house, attachments to creativity. That means that you're really attached to kids and you have an emotional connection with kids. In your heart, you probably feel like you really want kids at some point, and you can be really nurturing to them. It would mean that your mom kind of overly nurtured you and babied you, and it's true. My mom was always the type of person to give me, like, feed me, like clean my clothes, clean my room, give me exactly what I needed, and sometimes too much. And it wasn't only that, it was like my grandma, like a lot of strong maternal figures in my life that provided me with what I needed. They really find it hard to get serious about things sometimes. Like they're kind of lazy. Like they don't like doing the daily routine type of things, usually because their moms always did all that shit for them. And in relationships and stuff, with the moon in the 5th house, we usually, you know, fall head over heels for people instantly. We get like emotionally attached rather quickly to people, and breaking that emotional attachment kind of really hurts. So just be careful, and with the moon in the 5th house, don't really try to get too attached to people right away, because you never know a person until you actually spend a lot of time with them. Okay, Mercury in the 5th house. Mercury in the 5th house is fun. It's gonna mean that you yourself, you're funny as fuck. You know how to flirt, you know how to communicate with people, and like you're super suave about your words and bromance. It means that you know, with your creativity, maybe you have the ability to write in colorful ways. Maybe you have the ability to write blogs in colorful ways. Maybe you have the ability to I don't know, do anything that has to do with communication, but you add light to it, you bring creativity to it, you bring color to it. You can have the ability to teach children. Like, you can get down to their Google Gaga language and kind of get through to them, which is really cool. And it also means that maybe you enjoy like games where you have to use your brain, where you can explore, and puzzles to exercise your mind. Like, that's the way that you have fun. And then when you have kids, you're gonna kind of implant a lot of this Mercury on them. To maybe your kids are gonna be chatty Cathys. Maybe your kids are going to be super smart and analytical. But education is going to be a big focus on your children. Like, you're going to worry about their education, their languages, all of that. Love-wise, it could mean that Mercury is multiplicity, so multiple love affairs. Venus in your 5th house. Venus loves to be in the 5th house because it gets to enjoy itself. It gets to have an abundance of guilty pleasures with Venus in the 5th house. So with love, I mean, Venus in the 5th house usually gets partners that give them what they want, that their relationships and their flings are full of romantic things, flowers, being praised and being called beautiful. It can be a little heartbreaker with Venus in the 5th house because a lot of people are going to see you as the ideal person to start love with and start a relationship with. But really, some of those things are going to be short-lived because you may be looking for the next best thing and what can fulfill your need for instant gratification, especially in the love field. And as far as your kids, you may have kids with a lot of Libra or Taurus qualities. Beautiful kids, a beautiful relationship with your kids. You may also be into like makeup and beauty, and that's how you express your creativity. Anything aesthetics, fashion. You may have like, a hand, or what looks good. You know how to, dress up and be super extra. With Mars in the 5th house, all of your energy is going to be put towards expressing yourself, maybe in a physical way, maybe a physical creative way. Maybe you're really good at dancing. Maybe you're really, good at playing sports, and that sparks joy in you. You're probably seen, as sexually attractive, especially because it's in the house of Leo. And you may have multiple sex partners and flings that mostly revolve around sex. You're good for one-night stands with Mars up having a lot of like Aries or Scorpio qualities with your kids. Your kids are gonna have those qualities, or you may have like a lot of boys with Mars in the 5th house for your children, and maybe your children can be into sports and be super athletic, and they probably got that from you. Jupiter in the 5th house is great. Any house that Jupiter is in, it's gonna automatically expand. So with the 5th house, if it's children, you're probably a fertile myrtle. And it means that you may have like a lot of children, or you may be around a lot of children, and you also have this joyful quality to you, and your children are going to be super happy and clumsy maybe, but super funny and humorous. It means that you also like to you love, and you also overlove children with Jupiter in the 5th house, and to your children, they may be like Sagittarius, like I was telling you, but you're gonna pass on a lot of wisdom and spirituality and humor to your children. And in the 5th house, it can create like a void for enjoyment because you feel like it's a sin to have fun. Your mind may always be work, get money, get power. And then when it comes to having fun, letting loose, having a good drink, you kind of feel guilty about it. The only way you're going to stop feeling guilty about enjoying yourself with Saturn here is through figuring out what really sparks joy in you. Maybe it is through work. Maybe it is through working like at a corporation and climbing up the ladder, and those like steps of success that you take bring you joy. As far as children, it could mean that you don't want to have children, like you're kind of fearful of them. It means that you may have children later in life after like you're 30, 35, 40. It could also mean that you have restrictions with fertility and you want children, but it's hard for you to get pregnant. And you just have to work at that, which, you know, nowadays you can. Saturn here, you probably hold back a lot because you're not into the whole like flings. You want something that gives you stability and that is serious, and that's completely fine. Just put that out there to the world and you'll get it. In your 5th house, like, you enjoy doing things that are unconventional. Maybe you are like a cuckoo weirdo scientist that knows facts about chemicals and weird things and likes to research those things, and that's what sparks joy in you. Doing something weird while everybody else is out partying and drugs. Maybe you're like at home watching like weird shows and series, and that's what sparks joy in you. Uranus is also unexpected, so if it's a house of children, you can also have unexpected pregnancies. And your relationships are like night and day. Like you can fall in love super easily, but then you can fall out of love overnight and forget about that person super quick. So you want freedom. Maybe you can have a whole bunch of flings going on at one time and you're perfectly fine with that. You just have to let the other people know, or like set up those expectations that you're not one that wants to get into anything serious. You want to be free all the time. As far as kids, this could mean that your kids are freaking smart little Einstein geniuses. You know, you can have unexpected pregnancies, even when you're in a relationship. So if you know you're going to be a free-loving hippie, then get on birth control. Okay, with Neptune in the 5th house. With Neptune in the 5th house, as far as we get to these outer planets, just know that you also have to really look at the aspects. But with Neptune in the 5th house, it means that you are extra romantic. You are extra for falling in love and really having that fairy tale, so much that you can close your eyes to the people that you're like, you can put on a filter on the people that you're dating and make this seem a lot better than what they actually are. That you'll take in all of their suffering, and like you will be selfless for them because you think that will really spark joy in you. I mean, it can, but you just have to be careful, you know, not to fall into these relationships, because Neptune's gonna dilute anything it touches. It's not gonna let you see clearly. So you just have to go off of intuition when Neptune is here. It could mean that you are highly, like, you know, artistic, and, you know, maybe like you're a beautiful like ballet dancer and you just move so sensually and so beautifully, and like anything that you do it with a flair of beauty with Neptune here. If you have children, that can cause confusion. Like, you may not know who the dad is to your child, or you may not know that you are a dad. You know, fear of letting out your creativity, because you're so afraid that once you you know, set your focus on that, you know, one ability that you have, that one talent you have, you'll become super obsessive and want to create perfection. Like say that you are into, you have the ability to like draw, like you would be obsessed about drawing and making your pictures and portraits beautiful and perfect, but you're scared at the same time of them leaving, and maybe leaving metaphorically, and you're with your children, you're probably gonna have some control issue with them, and hold a lot of dominance over them, which can make them kind of scared of you. And you know, it would make sense if you had a lot of Scorpio children, but yeah, it can make them fearful of you, and you have the fear of them like leaving you with that burden of feeling lonely, or the loss of children. So it's not that they'll die physically, but that one day they'll spread their wings and fly and leave you with an uneasy feeling. With Pluto in the 5th house, and have powerful relationships that start off as flings, but like the themes of like obsession and secrecy and having like the forbidden fruit are pretty common with Pluto in the 5th house. So yep, I went through all the planets, guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and again, my next video, I'll do the 6th house. Hopefully I can get it up sooner for you guys, but we'll have to see. And thank you guys for rolling with the punches with me, and I hope again you guys have a happy new year, and thank you for watching my YouTube channel.